Hi, everyone, and welcome to Coach's Corner. It's time to talk Ponca City golf today, and we're going to start out with our girls golf coach, John Spore, who had a very good season again this year. But, Coach, I thought we might start out talking about the success of our Ponca City program and the city of Ponca City. The Lady Cats and Wildcats hosted two premier events in the state of Oklahoma the past couple of weeks. How'd things go?
Well, we hosted both regionals, the boys regional at the country club and the girls regional at the country club. Really a monumental task. I forgot how much work those things were, but trying to put those things together, and you get, we had, there's 32 teams, so you have 16 teams per region. 16 teams coming in here, and of course they got to have places to stay and make arrangements for practice rounds and get the tournament kicked off and plan for the weather. The boys was no weather issues. With the girls, we were looking at several days out that was supposed to be bad weather, and you think about it, and I had never really thought about it that deeply, I guess, before, but we just, obviously in spring you have bad weather. Mm-hmm. But we have never, knock on wood, in about 20 years that I've done this, I've never had a day where we went out and played in the rain. It's never happened.
Right.
We've never had a day where we had severe weather chances where you might have a tornado. Well, this was predicted, and later on at night they did have them in other parts of the state, but several days out they're talking about severe weather. Well, it's not just getting the kids and their parents. At the country club, we can put them in the downstairs part of the cart barn, which is 3/4 underneath the ground, cement roof and all that. They would have been fine there. But if they left, say the tournament was over, and on the way home they get in bad weather. So you don't have to worry just about the kids while they're here in Ponca. It's maybe getting those families back home, grandparents, whatever, to their home where they might have a safe house, whatever. Anyway, it was a few issues there, and then we ended up changing the start time, dropped it back an hour, and did a shotgun start and got everybody in and out of there, and really went smooth.
What Coach is talking about is that was a couple of weeks ago where everybody said there would be violent tornadoes on a Tuesday. Now, your event was actually a Monday, but if it came in, it was supposed to be, was it a Monday, Tuesday event?
No, ours was on Tuesday. The boys is on Mondays always, and the girls' regionals were on Tuesday, but they were, 4, 5, 6 days out. Mm-hmm. These weathermen are getting good enough where they can at least get you close to what maybe might happen.
Right.
And they were talking bad weather several days out, so we were able to make plans for that, and everything worked out fine.
So not only do you worry about the tournament, but then you've got an eye on the sky, and it was bad weather, but fortunately it wasn't quite as bad as they thought. And so did you change the event? Was it always scheduled as an 18-hole?
Oh, yeah.
The girls are always an 18-hole event.
Right, yeah. Girls are always an 18-hole event. Boys play 36
at
the regionals. So that part didn't change. And we were able to shotgun it. And in the 20 years that I've done this, that is one thing that has changed. When I first started, everybody did tee times.
Right.
And now almost all the tournaments we go to are shotgun start. And for those viewers that don't know, a shotgun start, we're going to start all players at exactly the same time, scattered all over the 18 holes of the golf course. The advantages of shotgun starts is the total length of the tournament is not as long. You're talking for 4.5 hours to finish the tournament. So you don't have to start quite as early in the morning, and for those people traveling from out of town in the mornings, they don't have to get up quite so early, and we get them home at a decent time in the afternoon or early evening. Whereas if you tee time it, and there's still a couple of tournaments that do that, if you happen to get a later tee time and don't get through with the tournament till 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Tulsa, and then you have to have awards and this, that, and the other, and then you have to go eat, and it's 6 or 7 o'clock at night before you get home. Shotgun's much better that way.
You said you've been doing this 20 years. How rare is it that a town like Ponca City have both of those events?
Oh, we've had them a couple of times. Usually we have it at Wentz, but they had a conflict of some other big fundraising tournament that day and couldn't do it. But when Jerry Orr was still coaching, there was probably at least twice that we had them both here the same years.
The state likes Ponca. We have good courses. We have great courses, but the state obviously likes the way. And I know you were the tournament director for the boys. Were you also the tournament director, or was Bill the tournament director for the girls?
Well, what happened in those situations, at the girls' tournament, I was out on the course most of the time with the girls, and Bill was up the clubhouse conducting business, and just the flip-flop on the boys' side.
But obviously, we do some good things. If you didn't, they wouldn't keep coming back to Ponca City and having us run these tournaments.
Well, after we did that this year, Phil, Bill and I looked at each other, woo, I don't know if that was worth it. You know, obviously, you don't have to travel to the regional tournament. And hopefully, you know your course better, should give you a little better, more advantage to have a chance to qualify. But boy, howdy, it was just a lot of work, and you can't make all of us coaches happy all the time.
Right. Well, you know, for Ponca City, it's a great thing. The advantages are your kids sleep in their own beds. They don't have to travel quite as much. But I hope those kids understand that guys like this are the reason why. That and I'm sure you had a lot of volunteers that helped.
Well, yes, we had Jerry Orr volunteered and was one of the starters. Mike Ball at the country club, a member out there, wanted to be involved, and he was another starter. Dale Chapman, my lifelong good friend, did the scoring and put it on the computer so we could send it out to newspapers and back to the OSSAA and coaches and all that. So yeah, the number, the stack of people that helped that were big was stacks that high.
We don't take them and write them down anymore like we used to, though, do we?
No. Well, that's the thing with, and then we haven't done that probably in almost 10 years now. Everybody puts the scores on computer, and then it's emailed back to you, and before you get home, you check your computer, and there's all the scores, the top 10, the top teams, everything's broken down for you. And back in the past, before that, you know, you was the big chief tablet and that first grade pencil.
Absolutely, and I can remember I'd have to call every coach, and now it's on the internet before I even know what's going on, and I used to have to call all these guys. Your team didn't qualify as a team. You did qualify 2 people. How close were you to getting in there as a team, Coach?
I told the girls before we started the tournament, historically, let me back up. Historically, a score of about 360 gets you in the state tournament. It has for 20 years. A lot of those 360 scores were we used to always have regionals when I first started at South Lakes and Jinx, which is a very easy golf course compared to ours. And that 360 got you in every year. And I thought our golf course was a little tougher. And I looked at the teams and there was 4 or 5 on that bubble. Us and Bartlesville and Muskogee were all Booker T, pretty good team. I thought was on the bubble and I said, girls, if we score 364, which is 91 per kid, then we get in. Well, we shoot 363, and we're 9 strokes out. 354 was 2 teams tied at that to get in the tournament. What's happened, and I talked to Alan Hager, and he's native-born Ponca kid, went to school here and was assistant out at the country club for years, and now he's a head pro down in Norman. His daughter plays for Norman High, I believe. Anyway, I was talking to him. I said, what it seems to me, it doesn't seem, it is this way. the girls' golf is so much deeper and better than it was 15 years ago. Back when Michaela Cavender was three-time state champion, runner-up when she's a freshman, would she still be in the hunt to win those tournaments today? Yes. The best one or two is not any better than she was. But now we have 15 girls that are capable of going out and shooting scores good enough to win the state tournament. 15 years ago, that didn't happen. When she competed, there was only 2 or 3 that had a chance to win the state tournament. Now there's 15.
So 2 or 3 could shoot a 73 or 74, and then everybody else was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now you got 15 in the 70s, and they're all bunched up. So.
Yes, it's much more competitive. A lot of good golfers. Two other things, and it was in the paper in the Tulsa World at least. Owasso started their girls golf program 9 years ago. When he started, Ron Ramos, the coach, he had 3 girls out for the team. This year they're state champions. That back in the day, you didn't figure Owasso as being one of the teams you had to beat. You had to beat Jenks, and you had to beat Broken Arrow, and you had to beat Union. Those were the big 3, and then Bartlesville and us and Stillwater and Muskogee maybe were in that group to be the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 4th, 5th, 6th qualifiers. But now you got Owasso in there,
Bixby.
plus Bixby. But Bixby's a very good team. It is really, really competitive, more so on the east side of the state than it is the west side of the state. You get those big 4 over there that, they want to win everything.
Absolutely. What's the future of the girls golf program, Coach?
Well, we still are struggling to get enough girls to want to take up golf initially. And it's not just here in town, it's nationally. Soccer starts when you can crawl underneath this desk. You're 6 years old, they stick you on the soccer field and start kicking the ball around. Well, that's almost too young to start golf. The PGA of America has put some money into golf and trying to promote golf at younger ages, get these kids hooked on golf younger, like they're getting hooked on soccer, and soccer's the big one. That, holy cow, you can go out and play when you're pretty small and have fun. Well, golf, to have fun in golf, you got to be able to halfway score. Well, I know Eddie Roethlisberger, the pro at the country club, he has a group of 10 or 15 little, pretty small kids that he's working with. The oldest one maybe be in the 6th grade, maybe. The rest of them are younger than that, 3rd, 4th graders. And they go out and he's making golf fun, having different little games that they do with the club and the ball other than playing real golf. They have little games and hopefully, and I've talked to those kids, some of those little kids, they say they have a great time.
Right.
So hopefully you get them hooked, and down the road they'll be here. But right now I'll probably have 1 freshman next year, maybe 2, and I'd like to have 4.
There was a time when girls golfers weren't seen as per se athletes, Coach. If you watch what's going on, all these people that are making money at this are great athletes. They just happen to excel in golf. When Ponca City has a kid that excels as an athlete, they're stretched too. So I'm sure that you guys are finding that when you do get a kid who is an excellent golfer, they're probably going to be good at basketball or good at soccer or good at softball or something else. So again, our scenario is a little bit different than maybe some other towns.
I know for a fact, a couple of years ago, I talked to the Union coach, and the Union girls signed a contract. All I'm going to do is play golf. I'm not going to do anything else. If you did anything else, you didn't play golf. They just got that, so they did it year round. Obviously, in Ponca, we're not going to do that. And all of these good, the Wasso team, and all of these girls that are really good in the top 15 or 20 girls in the state of Oklahoma, that's all they do. That's all they do is play golf. And they play golf year round. They take professional lessons. Sydney Herman and I went over to the state course and played a practice round on Sunday before it started. We got there about 2 o'clock, and she went down to warm up. At the same time we got there, 2 girls from Jenks and 2 girls from one of the other qualifying teams were there to get a lesson from the pro at the Indian Springs. When we were this is on a Sunday. They weren't playing a practice round. They were just there practicing with the pro. When we getting ready to leave, we had about 2 holes to play. Here they come by us. They were still there. They've been there for at least 4 hours, just like we'd been. Well, they do that year round. Sydney does that year round. I wish everybody could do it year round. That way you know, but that's not going to happen here in Ponca. And I don't want to take those kids, and I'm never going to ask them. Here, give softball up. Give volleyball up. Don't play basketball. Holy cow, you only jump this high. Here, let's go swing that golf club.
Right.
Well, I'm not going to, if they want to have fun with their friends, and that's the thing about golf, it's not a team sport. You're out there as an individual, and now you take 5 individual scores and put them together for a team score, but there's no teamwork, and so the team concept is not really in golf like it is in volleyball or softball or those other sports. So we're never going to ask them to give up those things, and if they would just do a little. Madison Presco played for us last year. She did, for most of her high school career, she did softball and basketball. So we didn't see her till the 1st of March when the season started. Yet she was a very good player. The reason was that throughout the year, she just didn't put the clubs in the closet and forget about them. On the weekend, she went out with her parents. Mm-hmm. She did this. So it wasn't starting new each year at 1st of March.
But it's a far cry from a kid that 365 days a year is out there not just playing the course, but getting 2 and 3 hour lessons from golf pros on how to adjust their swings too.
This didn't happen 20 years ago either. 20 years ago we had the South Central PGA had a summer program, and it lasted from when school was out till when school's roughly in July sometime. And there were tournaments every 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, somewhere in the state of Oklahoma. And they had different age groups, kids, and it cost the parents a little money and they'd go play. Now, besides that, we have what is the OJGT, Oklahoma Junior Golf Tour. It starts, the first tournament I think is in a week and a half. It's sort of an East-West all-star thing from the state tournaments. Sydney Herman's going to play in it. In Shawnee, 2-day tournament, Saturday and Sunday. She will have those two-day tournaments almost every other weekend. She had them in this spring, while our state type tournaments were going on. She had these weekend tournaments. They'll go all through the summer and all through fall, all through football season. Every Saturday and Sunday she'll be at a golf tournament somewhere. The only time they don't play golf is when snow's on the ground.
They have to love it, don't they?
Yeah.
They better love it. See, this is why Spore and I have done this so many times. This is why I like interviewing. We fall right back into it. We've done this a long time. It's great to get your views because you can go back and you can see the perspective of how things have changed. And they, you mentioned Michaela Kavner 10 years ago. That was a great run for Ponca City High School golf because there were some other good players with her as well. But even if you go back just 10 years, it's changed a lot since then.
Oh, right. You need to have a good, Owasso's team this year, they had 5 pretty good players.
Yep.
Most of the tournaments where they did well throughout the year, it wasn't that they had two really, really good ones. They had all 5 of their girls were pretty good. Not great, pretty good. They got better as the year went on, and they went to the state tournament, and their number 1 bag and their number 3 bag on the last day when they overtook Norman to win the state tournament. They both shot 75, 76 on the last day. Right. So career rounds.
Right.
This is the best they've ever played in their lives. They performed on a big stage, and they're both. I know the number 1 bag's like a sophomore. Number 1 girl in the state's a freshman. It is really, really competitive.
And here's the other part. How old's Alan Hager's daughter? Is she a good golfer?
Pretty good. She played last year, so I'm going to guess she's a sophomore.
But that's another part of Ponca City is that, we have people move out, and we can't afford people to move out when we have she'd have darn sure been a good player for you probably, and when we have kids and people move for obvious reasons, but that's another part of our situation is you got a kid you kind of plan on, and then all of a sudden they're gone too.
The number 1 girl for Owasso, and I don't remember her first name, but it's Belmere, her last name. At the Invitational Tournament this year, he came up to me and introduced himself, and he said, I went to school in Ponca City. Wow. He's a Ponca City kid, graduated in the early 80s, and a very athletic looking person. And I said, did you play any sports? Because that's when I was, he was here right when I started. And he said, no, I spent all my time at the lake. He didn't do a thing. But now his daughter plays. She's a very good player, and he's at every tournament watching.
Yeah. It's hard to overcome those things. Great to talk to you, my friend, and John Spore, our girls golf coach, did a great job this year. Congratulations to those girls. John Spore, our Coach's Corner this week.